One of our very own New York Knicks actually has a shot to make the Team USA roster, and I'm here to break it all down. All that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and let's hop right into today's video. So one day after Jalen Brunson put in that work against the Golden State Warriors, now we get this report talking about Jalen Brunson is a strong candidate to make the 2024 Olympic roster for Team USA this summer. And I quote from head coach Steve Kerr, "Brunson is definitely somebody we're considering." I think that's a pretty big deal because Jalen Brunson going up against a pool of players that are on the list of making the team, it's a huge number. Look at the amount of players that we got. I'm not going to name all of them, but as far as the guards, we got, Paolo Banchero, second year, so I don't think he's going to make it. Desmond Bade, I don't think he's going to make it. Scotty Barnes is not going to make it. Tyler Hero, his own Knick teammate, Josh Hart is in there. Duncan Robinson, Austin Reeves, Cam Johnson, Brandon Ingram, Kyrie Irving, Tyrese Halliburton. Like, Jalen Brunson has a lot of people that he's going to have to go up against. And I believe it was maybe a couple weeks ago where there was a report saying that Devin Booker and Drew Holiday, they are locks to join LeBron, Steph, and KD in Paris. Jalen Brunson is just having a lot to go up against right now. But if you take a look into the numbers, I think 100% he's worthy for this season, averaging 27.6. Let's make that 28 points. 3.7. Let's make that 4 rebounds. 6.4, 6.5 assists. Converting 47.8, which is 48% from the field and 40% from three-point land. Free throws, 84.3, converting 84% of his free throws. Jalen Brunson this season, man, has been on a tear, and I feel like we have to highlight it a little bit more with all the bodies that are out right now. Randall, OG Anunoby was out for 3 weeks with that elbow surgery. He played, I believe, both games, the one in Portland and the one in Sacramento, but after the Sacramento game, there was some inflammation that flared up, so he didn't play in last night's game against the Golden State Warriors. So OG is in and out of the lineup. Randall has been out since the end of January. Mitchell Robinson has been out since the beginning to middle of December with that ankle injury and the ankle surgery. Dante DiVincenzo has missed some games here and there with some hamstring tightness. Like, there's just been a lot of injuries this season, and Jalen Brunson was bit by the injury bug as well. He had that left knee contusion against the Cleveland Cavaliers where he played like 46 seconds. He had other knick-knack injuries that kept him out of games. So Jalen Brunson is definitely susceptible to injuries as well. But when he is on the court, he's putting the team on his back. He's putting the team on his shoulders, and he's carrying us into the playoffs, baby. I just think it's funny after last night's game when Jalen Brunson put in that work against the Golden State Warriors. Now we're getting this quote from Steve Kerr saying that he's heavily being considered. And I mean, Jalen Brunson has been doing this all season. When the list of names came out to be linked with the USA roster, like at first glance, I was like, I don't think Brunson or Hart are going to make it. Because yeah, Brunson is making a name for himself as a New York Knick and is making his ripples throughout the NBA. Like, people are gaining more and more respect for Brunson. But for some reason, I just didn't think that he had the name cachet in order to make the roster. But last night, after putting in 34 points, 5 rebounds, and 7 assists against the Golden State Warriors, and 12 of 25 from the field, and 3 of 9 from 3, I feel like Steve Kerr might be leaning more towards Brunson. And I've been seeing this a little bit more and more as I check the Twitter and the Knicks pages and just throughout the internet. I'm just seeing a lot more clips of people talking about him. Udonis Haslem, I just saw a clip when he was on his podcast. He's talking about Jalen Brunson and how he's a bad boy. Kendrick Perkins, since the beginning of the season, has been praising Jalen Brunson. And one of the things that I'm seeing that everybody's kind of talking about is his basketball IQ. But to go along with his basketball IQ is his footwork. Like, Jalen Brunson's footwork is something that like needs to be studied. If you are a young hooper and you're coming up in the game and you're not as athletic as the other players and you're not as tall as the other players, you need to study and make a case study on Jalen Brunson and see how he's being able to get to the spots on the floor where he's most effective. How is he able to get to the mid-range and the pick and roll? How is he able to, once he hits the paint, how is he able to fake out a defender with multiple fake moves? And meanwhile, keeping his pivot foot down the whole time. Seeing the kind of respect that he's demanding right now from the media and, more importantly, his peers talking about him as if like he's one of the better players in the league. And just to go back to that USA roster spot, I think it's, if Jalen Brunson is able to make it, another reason why I think it's a really big deal, aside from the name cachet and his name literally being in the same conversation as LeBron, KD, Steph, because he'll be on the same team. So that'll be really cool. But one of the biggest reasons why I want him to make the team is because I feel like every time the Olympics come around, there's always that one or two player that goes into the Olympics and they see how everybody else around them works. They see their work ethic. LeBron, Melo, D Wade, they said that in a bunch of interviews after they played in the 2008 Olympics and they saw Kobe Bryant work in his personal time. There was that, obviously there's a documentary on Netflix, the Redeem Team, and there's a clip of Melo saying that he saw Kobe working out at 5 or 4:30 in the morning. That was when Melo, D Wade, and LeBron were coming back from the club, and Melo was like, I'm not going to go work out, I'm gonna go sleep. That just shows you the difference of level that Kobe was amongst his peers. There's levels to this. You got the all-stars, you got the superstars, and then you got the people that are looked at as and revered as gods. So if Jalen Brunson is able to go to the Olympics and he's able to be surrounded by all this talent, specifically Steph Curry being the point guard, he'll be able to take game from Stephen Curry as far as like how he's shooting, how he's able to get to his spots, how he's able to manipulate the defense, being able to be around LeBron, who is arguably top 2, top 3 best players of all time, KD, like the amount of talent that's going to be on that team and what Jalen Brunson is able, the knowledge that he can get and bring into the Knicks organization that's going to spill over to the rest of the team is going to be invaluable. And we see that all the time. Like I keep saying, Carmelo Anthony is another example. I believe 2008 when he went to China to go play in the Olympics, he was surrounded by Kobe. He was surrounded by LeBron, Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, all the really good names of that time. The NBA season following that Olympic run, that's when Carmelo Anthony had his really first breakout season with the Denver Nuggets. I believe he led them into the Western Conference Finals against Kobe Bryant, where they eventually lost, but I think they lost like in 6 games. But you were able to see the difference in Melo's game. Another example is, I believe it was the 2012 NBA season, which was right after the London Olympics, where the USA won gold. Again, Melo was surrounded by LeBron, KD, Kobe. These Olympics are always a really good indicator of where you rank within the league. They can test their skills against the other NBA elite. And there's always that, when there's practice, you see that footage on social media where they have one-on-ones after practice, where it's like a post up in the mid-range at 3-point or in the box. You see the Devin Booker was going up against KD all those summers ago. Like if Jalen Brunson, I keep saying it, if Jalen Brunson is able to get into that roster and he's able to soak up game from so many people, we might see Jalen Brunson next season go into a different level, which I don't even know what that would look like. That might look like MVP. That might look like Eastern Conference, legitimately Eastern Conference Finals berth. Like, the future is really bright for Jalen Brunson. And I'm super happy that Steve Kerr is really keeping him in mind to nab one of those final roster spots. But first and foremost, Jalen Brunson, we got to focus on this season. There's a lot of bodies out. We got to see how we're going to be able to make it through the Eastern Conference playoffs. You know, after we made the trade, everybody was saying Eastern Conference Finals appearance, but now Randall's still out. Mitchell Robinson's coming back. OG Anunoby's elbow is flaring up. Now there's a lot of like bumps that are coming up that we just got to get through. So we got to focus on this season. But guys, that's it for today's video. I want to say thank you for checking it out. Leave it in the comments and let me know what you guys think about Steve Kerr's comments regarding Jalen Brunson and that USA team roster spot. But until next time, guys, you guys know the drill. You know the vibes. Taj Gibson for president, always, even though he's on the Detroit Pistons. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. You know that. And we out. Peace.